Hello, sunshines, sweethearts. Now drop your bloody socks and grab your chuffing underpants because you're in for the chuffing right bloody treat. Tell you that for chuffing now. Welcome back. Another chuffing instalment, the old bloody Quickshot of Rooskies. Now, I just want to quickly say we will be doing whiskey review. We might take whiskey reviews for today. We did his bloody Afterlife last episode. We're going to do whiskey reviews again. But I just want to discuss, somebody came up to me at work, Polish dude, and he basically says, there's such a thing in chuffing England, a chuffing spotted dick. I says, yeah. I says, there's two varieties. I says, one of them was very well with custard. I says, other, and you need chuffing tablet and ointments. I said, but be careful which one you put custard on. Although one of them, if it's too bad, it might look like chuffing custard coming out of it. And he just sailed away at that, he'd heard chuffing enough. You know what I mean? Right, straight into chuffing action, no chuffing messing about. Now this particular malt whiskey was gifted to me by a dear personal friend who wants to remain chuffing nameless, but it was given to me by a dear personal friend who thought that I might appreciate it a little bit more than him. So if he's watching, I'd like to say thank you very much. I don't think he will be watching because he can't chuffing stand the programme. So it's chuffing prerogative. It's a free world. Watch what you want. You know what I mean? He prefers chuffing 18. B.A. Baracus and all that chuffing stuff. Right, so we've got, ladies and gentlemen, without further chuffing to do, the chuffing Ardmore legacy. Highland Malt. I wrote down a couple of cheeky little chuffing bits and bobs here for you to chuffing savour and chuffing enjoy. Right, it says Ardmore, released in 2014, was a replacement for the chuffing Ardmore chuffing traditional. Lightly peated, wood spice flavour. It's 80% peated, 20% unpeated chuffing malt. And it's owned by Teachers, so the people that do the Teachers blended whiskey, which is an old stalwart chuffing blend that used to be knocking around, going head to head, toe to toe, ding ding with chuffing bells, chuffing famous grouse and grants and all them chuffing big hitters. So chuffing old Teachers. Creamy, kind of slightly peated blend, gets its peated overtones from this particular whiskey, this chuffing Ardmore. Right, let's see what it says on the old chuffing tin. The old tin here, it says, a complex process that yields an astounding result. The smoothly peated yet perfectly chuffing balanced liquid, that is the Ardmore. Traditionally handcrafted in the Scottish Highlands, the Ardmore distillery has been watched over by a family of chuffing their eagles. Bloody hell. Since 80 in my back gardens, chuffing overlooked by chuffing rare robin, chuffing redbreast. Chuffing shitting everywhere and bloody, you don't need it, do you? It says, this is a place and indeed a process that brings man, might and metal together in a celebration of the chuffing raw power of nature. Distilled and bottled in Scotland, the Ardmore distillery, and it gives you chuffing address and all that chuffing shite. But we're not nipping around for chuffing tea, so we don't need to know that bit, do we? Got a few little bits and bobs on back, 40% chuffing ABV, but right, let's get it bloody cracks open. I haven't got all chuffing day to be reading all this chuffing gubbins, do we? Want to get chuffing slurping. Bloody, the time is 11:45 in the morning. On my chuffing day off, I've not even had a chuffing drink yet. I'm slacking. I'm getting slacker than an old pair of chuffing bagpipes. I tell you that for bloody now. Right, let's get bloody pouring. Little dabble in. Ooh. It's almost like a kind of the colour. Let's get it up here so you can have a little chuffing goosey gandy as well. The colour, it's copperish but golden, but it's got if you catch it in certain lights, it's got almost like a subtle rose gold look to it. But you have to get it in like that. It could be me just looking through these chuffing sunglasses. Looking at these bloody whiskies half the time with my shades on. So I always think they're chuffing darker than what they are. They're bound to be, aren't they? Right, let's have a little chuffing sniff. Lightly sweet. Lightly savoury. Little bit of smoke, but not too much. So it says on tin it's not over smoked. It definitely ain't over smoked. And some kind of, now I've just been out there doing chuffing garden. I've cut grass. I've been doing some weeding and chuffing, messing about, frolicking around in all chuffing muck. We all chuffing worms and grubs and all that stuff. And I smelt a few times something similar to chuffing this. It's like ever or something, but there's some kind of earthy, grassy overtones to it. Or undertones, or whatever you want to call it. Right, let's have a little bloody sip anyway. Hey, before we do that, although we've done it out sequence, left nostril, right nostril, chin, left nipple, right nipple, belly bin, right the old chuffing sweetie pies. Right, we'll have the chuffing, so we did it out sequence there, but as long as I throw it in, I keep you happy, you know what I mean? I keep somebody happy. Book me one viewer. Let's have a sip. it's fairly complicated, really. I mean, it's a no-way statement. Don't say on it like it's 8 years or 10 years or 12 or... So it's... You've got to presume it's fairly young. But just from that first taste of that and the smell, but in particular the taste, I would definitely suggest that that's more than 3 years in a day. You could be looking at 5 or 6 years for that one. It's quite nice. You can definitely taste the oaky, spicy, peaty element to it. It's not totally one-dimensional. It's got a kind of breezy lightness to it as well, a little bit creamy. It's pleasant. This is a great way, I would say, this is a good way of getting into your like kind of peated whiskies and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? If you've never had a peated whiskey before, don't go straight into your chuffing Lafroig and your chuffing Lagavulins and your chuffing Smokeheads and all that stuff. Get your son chuffing one of these. Get it chuffing inside out. And you might realise that your chuffing got a bit of a taste for that kind of thing. And the kind of people, we've discussed this before on the chuffing big house shows and Quickshots and all that chuffing shite. But basically, usually in my experience, 2 kinds of smoke, campfire and medicinal. That again, for me, that's in the Kaawea kind of range. It's a dampened down chuffing campfire chuffing smoke. Get your chuffing sitar out, your chuffing bongos, and your chuffing castanets and get plucking up a chuffing storm. That's what I say. Get one of these down, you get some music down, get chuffing pissed, put on a chuffing free gig for chuffing neighbours. Taste a little chuffing treat. One last buddy sip and then we'll crack on with the rest of the shite. I would say as the aftertaste goes away, spicy. It's a good drink. It's a good drink. It's definitely a session whiskey. With the 40% and with that flavour profile not being too intense and too challenging and too complicated, but complicated enough. So you will kind of dig into it and discover little elements. Every time you take a re-sip or a re-chuffing snort, you're going to keep on getting little bits of extra chuffing nuances out of it. But it's still within, it's an amateur to semi-professional, but a connoisseur could enjoy it as well. It's a good chuffing whiskey. Get it chuffing back. Only was for about 20 odd quid. Get it for 22 quid, 23 quid sometimes. Right. Oh, just before I go into anything else, I had a chuffing dream over night. I woke up in a chuffing cold sweat, and in this dream, I was chuffing dachshund, or dachshund, or what you call it, chuffing sausage dog. I turned, I went to sleep, me, and I woke up in the morning, this chuffing sausage dog. I didn't realise until I chuffing looked in the mirror. But, unfortunately, this particular sausage dog that I had become had, you know they've got chuffing short legs anyway, but it had extra short chuffing legs, but it had an extra long chuffing scrotum. So when I'm chuffing, every time I'm walking up and downstairs, my chuffing ball bag, banging off every chuffing step. Every time I'm walking on chuffing concrete, it's bloody brushed. Oh, they ended up with a right chuffing aching shaft chuffing set of chuffing knackers. Honestly, they by end at dream, they were 5 times bigger than what they were at chuffing start at dream. Woke up in a chuffing cold sweat. I had to have a look at mirror to see if I weren't a chuffing sausage dog, you know what I mean? Right, something else I wanted to discuss quickly. Last episode we did the old chuffing afterlife. Seems to be quite popular. Quite a few people's watched it. Not that they've watched all of it. They might have watched first 35 seconds and thought, chuffing stuff, this chuffing shite, and turn off. But it seems to have had a bit of appeal. But I forgot to mention a couple of things. I mentioned that we was going to look at the afterlife from the angle of also science, and I completely forgot to do it. But a lot of people, a lot of scientists and stuff, I think sometimes they put their eggs all in one basket. And I wrote down here, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Meaning that just because you can't prove it yet, doesn't mean it don't exist. There's lots of things that seem very, very supernatural, very, very mysterious, until they were proven by science. Now, I've not said all the time that it's all to do with chuffing witches and demons and bloody witchcraft and this, that. A lot of this stuff is explainable, but it ain't explainable yet. It's like you take into consideration the chuffing black hole. Now, the singularity, which is the suggested hypothesis of what happens at the bottom or the epicenter of a chuffing black hole, has not been conclusively decided one way or other by science. So does that mean that a black hole has no bottom? So if science couldn't prove that I had a chuffing rectum, would that mean that I've got no bottom? Evidently I've got a chuffing rectum. You know what I mean? So sometimes things they've not been proved yet, but it doesn't mean that they don't chuffing exist. Other thing I wrote down here, I was talking to a bloke, and I found this hilarious. You were just talking to me to give me these statistics about people that I used to go to school with and what the names were and what kind of people they were. Apparently, he went to school with a woman called Marigold, or Marie Gold, and apparently she had a chuffing rubber fetish. He went to school with somebody else called Jack Fiddle. He said he was a nice bloke, but apparently a bit of a chuffing prickly character. He went to school with somebody called, I think this was like a couple of years later in a class, I think it was science, double modular science, with a girl called Chuffing Susan Smile. She had no chuffing teeth. And the last one he said was a guy called, I think this was actually in college or university, a guy called Gary Fist. Apparently he had chuffing big feet. So you know what I mean? Some people go to school and hang out with these weird and wonderful gatherers. Last thing I'll say, and we'll leave you chuffing to it, is I was talking to somebody at work, and I says, how you doing, mate, how you doing? And he says, chuffing, came out with that classic. You know, one of the old benchmark chuffing comments. He says, same shit, different chuffing day. It got me to chuffing ruminate, got me to thinking, different shit, same day. Would that be better? So, same shit, different day, or different shit, day, same day, what's better? To be honest, the second one, the different shit, same day, to me, it sounds chuffing successful. And I wrote down here, I said, you're just getting over the first shit of the day when you get it flushed in the face by a steaming great turd of different chuffing origin. I said, it could be bigger, could be smellier. As far as I'm concerned, better than chuffing devil, you know. Chuffing, same shit, different day, every chuffing tap. Now, I'll not keep you any longer. It's been a bit crazy. It's been a bit chuffing nutty. But it's been that kind of chuffing week. It's reflected in how I'm chuffing coming across. Peace, brothers, sisters. Have a chuffing great day and a great life. And I'll catch you later. See you later, treacles.